Today was the big reveal for the new Destiny game that Bungie is currently releasing, and things are changing a lot. For some context, Destiny 1 was about the Guardians. Some would call them God's angels, others would call them Army of the Dead, but to most, they were warriors of the light, who were forever in a battle with something only known as the darkness. The Guardians resided in a place that they called the Tower, but in Destiny 2, things are changing. The Cabal, who are basically futuristic Vikings only set out for conquest and war, have taken over the Tower, taking away their weapons, their livelihood, and in essence, their home. Which is what we're talking about today on Dialogue Wheel on BGS. I am Anton Mack, your host for today. Joining me, we have the forever young, both inside and out, Liam Brand.
Thank you. Happy to be here, as always.
And as you can see to my right, we have the forever ginger, Professor Zach Fanny.
Mine's not as cool. I quit.
And obviously with that opening sweet dialogue I just did.
Love it.
We're talking about Destiny. So I got a quick question for you guys. Have you guys played Destiny 1?
Yes.
A lot?
Yeah, but all the way through.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that how this game
Zach
works?
and I are kind of two casuals where I
Yeah,
would guess
yes.
that we picked it up near launch, played through it, and we're kind of done with it by the time the first expansion came out, right?
Yeah.
That's about where I sit.
I had an acquaintance that, we played a lot together. And
An acquaintance.
Yeah.
Who shall not be named.
Yeah. And then we almost got kicked out of our living arrangement because we were enjoying it too loudly.
Oh.
So...
Bungie actually announced Destiny 2 with some new features. I'm assuming you guys actually, read up on it.
Oh, yeah.
I watched the actual thing.
You watched the actual thing. What do you guys think about it?
I'm pretty excited for it. Again, we're not like diehard fans who get really into like the technical features, but judging by just the first opening trailers, bits of gameplay, and the kind of the highlighted new features, I'm really looking forward to, especially how multiplayer interactions are going to work and how much more story-based it's going to be. That's definitely what caught my eye for sure.
Ooh.
I wasn't convinced that any real issues are going to be addressed. Like, I feel bad that I'm always like the naysayer of fun things.
Negative Nancy.
Yeah. But honestly, like watching the press conference where they're saying things like, "Oh, you want story? Okay, we're gonna give you a story. We have more cinematics than ever before." And they literally cut like just the cut of her, poor woman, telling the audience, "People talk to you."
So all right. So this is my pitch to you guys on why you should get Destiny 2.
You're the heart of this show, Anton. Just let it all out.
Oh my God.
You're the love.
The nicest thing Liam has ever said to me. But all right, so this is specifically to Zach because for Liam, he just wants people to play with, so he'll get any game.
Yeah, exactly. Please, like, follow me on Twitter, message me, whatever. Just I need friends.
Facebook friend request me, please.
All right. So Zach, so your thing is like, oh yeah, they're just throwing a Band-Aid on. They're not addressing any real issues, like the fact that there's a lack of story or there's really no interaction with players.
Or just doing something interesting with the whole, like they have this like, it's almost like a theological game. Like you have the light of like this traveler, and then you have the light, and then you lose the light, and like that's it. There's nothing else explored.
No,
there.
but you shoot a bunch of stuff.
I know, and like literally they're saying direct quotes like, "Oh, we just want to minimize the distance between the gun and your enemy's face," and like, "Oh, we have more worlds where you go on treasure quests." And like, I don't care. No one cares about treasure quests and quippy dialogue if they're not connected to anything like tangible and true.
See,
so they're doing all those tangible surface details without getting to the root of the problem.
See, all right, so for me, Destiny 1 wasn't a game that I picked up to be like, okay, this is a grand, cool story that, is really going to get me by and get me off like Last of Us or something like that. Destiny 1 essentially was a game where I created my own story, where I had my own experiences, where I had these stories of battle, stories of triumph, stories of anger, not from the game, not from like actual NPCs themselves or things of the sort, but the experience I created with my friends, with the way I interacted with the game. For example, just to kind of reel this all together, The second last raid was this raid called King's Fall. Pretty epic, whatever. My party and I decided that instead of actually going online during first week to figure out how to solve the puzzles, how to beat the bosses, things of the sort, we decided to freewheel it. We decided just to go in, no prior knowledge, and this like figure things out. For 4 hours, we ended up at this one boss called Golgoroth. And the only real, like, yeah, I know, it's a dumb name. It's a dumb name.
Everything
but
about this.
he was a pretty epic boss. He had this massive health pool. It took us 4 hours to come even close to defeating it. But as you keep fighting bosses, there's this enrage timer. And when it starts, it basically means you have 2 minutes to defeat it, or it's an automatic wipe. Everyone dies.
Damn.
So we're fighting this boss, and enrage timer comes on. So everyone starts freaking out. And when enrage timer comes on with that specific boss, this like real black like blur starts appearing on the sides of the screen and starts enclosing to the middle, basically making you blind
as the time runs out.
That's
pretty cool.
So now people like me and my team are freaking out. I'm playing with my girlfriend and my other clan members. Shout out to White Chicken, and that's his name. But things are closing in. We're freaking out, and we've gone to the point where we've lost all our buffs. We're doing minimal damage, but there's a tiny sliver left, and the screen's going dark, and I'm yelling out as the clan leader, use everything you got. My buddy pulls out his sword, starts like swinging it wildly. My girlfriend is punching the boss with just her hand because she has no more ammo left, and the screen goes fully black, and there's just dead quiet. It's just silence. And we've all just felt like we just lost a part of ourselves because 4 hours have gone by and we still could not kill the boss until we hear the final scream from the boss going.
Nice.
That's pretty good. And we just erupted. It's 4 a.m. and I'm playing with people from LA, so unfortunately, luckily for them, it was only like 1 a.m. But I'm yelling at the top of my lungs. My girlfriend is throwing a fit, like swinging her like pillow around in circles. And my parents are calling me to tell me to shut the fuck up. But at that point, it made me realize how much I truly love this game. For moments like that I can share with friends, that I could share with clan members, where, you know what, at the end of the day, if someone told me to tell them one story about Destiny, it would be that one story.
I remember a story like that. It was during the Last of Us multiplayer, because it kind of chimes into relates to what you're saying here of like an emergent story that you create through interactivity. Where Andy and I, we played like probably like most of our teenage life in Last of Us multiplayer has been spent in the ruins of this world.
Teenage life? You're not that old.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I'm sorry,
when
not
do you become an adult, Liam?
I mean,
yeah. We were Liam's spry age playing this. And, the multiplayer, you have, 4 people on your team at once, and then it goes down eventually from 20. And so we were left as the final 2. The other 2 people had died, and so we holed up on a university map in the house, and we just started sniping the other team. And they were way ahead of us. They were like 12. It was over 10 people they had left they could throw at us. So they kept coming at us. We sniped them a bit. We showed them they couldn't just take us. And we worked so hard, like just scrounging every final bullet, making every shot count, putting on the hockey pads all over our bodies again and again, like healing each other while we're getting shot and like Molotoved. And then at the very end, it actually gets tied and Andy gets downed by a Molotov, and it's me and the final guy in the final moment, and we look deep into each other's eyes and both pull the trigger, and he missed and I hit him, and we won the match. And it was like, God. So, and I just
like
paused.
Texas, like a Western style shootout.
Yeah. And I paused and leaned back in my chair, amazed. And then I just see Andy like slide in, just start dancing. Another noise complaint, but that's another. So I can see what you mean with that, like emergent story created through interactivity. And to be fair, and I don't want to be like unjust to the game, but Destiny 2 does seem to be really foregrounding the interactivity, how they deal with the clan thing, like how they bring in players who are playing on their own with clans so they can do the challenges and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, so that stuff's, I guess, like that. Those experiences I think will be a lot richer. I just don't think creating a campaign is going to really solve anything beyond that.
So that's like a really special thing about those kinds of games, like Destiny, The Last of Us Online, and I think that's like that carries over into like if I had to draw from recent memory, probably Ghost Recon. Like even Zach, Andy, and I, we've been playing that a lot. We have some equally hilarious and ridiculous stories, and that's something that few games can really bring out of people. And like, how do you think Destiny 2? Because I didn't get a lot of an impression that they were specifically addressing these kinds of personally made stories in their press address. Like, how do you think Destiny 2 is going to kind of improve that or push that forward?
So a lot of like my personal stories with the game have kind of stemmed from other players interacting with other players, because let's be honest, with Destiny, it's not a game you're going to pick up by yourself and just play all alone.
I did that. It was terrible.
Exactly. And then what? You stopped after Vanilla Destiny,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Loser.
I had some friends.
But I'm going to reel this back to the new features in Destiny 2. They've specifically dealt with multiplayer because a lot of people have had issues with finding friends. For example, Liam.
Lonely Liams of the world.
Man, I'm going to have to cry after this, man.
It's okay. You'll play video games. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
Alone.
Luke Smith himself has actually even said that only 50% of current Destiny players have actually completed a raid, which is ridiculous because one of the best moments in the game are from raids where
That's a big problem.
Yeah, it's a really big problem. So what they're doing is they're doing this thing called guided games. Long story short, you join a clan and you get the option for an LFG system, which is basically like looking for game. It's easier for you to find players to join you in these, end game content stuff. So rating, once again, fantastic. Also, like more quests, which was a really big issue, I will say, because you were saying like, I don't know, quests aren't that great.
Yeah, no, it's because I think of what we're saying with multiplayer, and then apply that to any other game where you're in a world and you're kind of creating a narrative as you play in it. Like I think of Fallout New Vegas and Caesar's Legion, and an image that still is in my subconscious, like seared there, is like the people who are crucified when you first encounter them.
Yeah.
And they just say like a few lines when you try to talk to them, but you can kind of like intuit or infer like a whole story from that you kind of put into that world. But the world has given you enough detail to feel like that you've lived in it and that you can kind of have that feeling. And like Destiny's worlds, especially in the first one, and it seems like in the second one, are like notoriously empty. So they're not providing you with the rich, substance that you need to really like use to craft your own stories while you're in the world. I think anything, these narratives are going to come from like the social experiences that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it seems once again like with this really big push towards storyline, it seems like we're going to get a lot more depth within, what we're learning about, the darkness and the light, because like I'll agree with you. It's totally vague. I have no idea who the light is. I don't know who the darkness is. Like for all I'm not going to say it. But but I'm going to wrap it up with, what do you think? Are you going to pick up Destiny 2 or not?
I'm going to... There's a whole thing of how they kind of structure the releases of the game and then the DLC and whatnot. I think I'm going to wait for maybe the first expansion pack or the second. That way I can really jump in and get like, right to the raids with some friends. But who knows? If I find myself desperately in need.
If I pick it up day one, will you play with me?
It seems like a good game to have.
Is your chance, Liam?
Yes, Anton.
All right, Zach, the worst. Are you gonna pick up Destiny?
Not unless Liam really needs someone to talk to, but
I'll buy it for you. How about that?
Oh, in that case, yes, yeah. No, and to be fair, this is not like the first-person shooter games aren't really for me. I did play the first one; it was fun, but again, unless I have a group of people that really are going to motivate me to get in there and fill it out, then I won't be.
You're the worst. I hate you.
I just got I'm growing old and got my teeth hurt and I got real world worries. I got to go to a dentist now regularly. This is not a game for these adult. No.
Woes. Look, Destiny 2 is going to be one of the games of the year. Bungie has always been successful in creating sequels. Look at Halo 2, fantastic. Halo 3, pretty good. But this does kind of bring up the question. If you're watching this right now, is Destiny 2 one of those wish list items? And has Destiny 1 impacted you in such a way where, you somewhat tear up every single time you think about a single moment? Because I did. slightly. But let us know down in the comments. I'm Anton Mack. We got Liam across the board. And we got Zach Fanny on BGS.